right, you guys, podcast time.
Chew. It's quieter.
Fucking podcasting right now.
Chew quieter.
And now to the podcast studio.
All right, it is Chew Quieter. We're back again, and as you know, I am Gabe Mercado, and my co-host is Armando Verdugo. And this third guy we have today is a special guest. That's Jeremy Purick from Rock Krawler Suspension. What's going on, Jeremy?
Oh, not much, man. I'm not quite sure how special I am today, but physically I'm here. Mentally, it's still dealing with King of the Hammer's lag.
Did you get that black lung this year?
A little bit. I mean, when we were out there, we were all pretty sick. We've been home for since last Wednesday, so most of it's gone now. All the silt is pretty much out of the lungs, and the weather wasn't bad. We had some rain and stuff like that out there, so it kept the dust to a minimum for sure.
Yeah. I heard it was a little cool, not colder, but cooler because of the humidity.
No, it was definitely cooler, but still warmer than last year. We had a couple nice days in there. You could be outside working in like sweatpants and a t-shirt for most of the time. It was, not terrible considering, it was a week earlier this year.
Yeah. So we'll get into the Hammers a little bit more, but first let's get back, way back into how you got started into all this. You went to Rutgers University where you played football and lacrosse, right?
No, I didn't play lacrosse. I picked up lacrosse when I was 38 years old and had nothing to do. I played at Cortland, and I got kicked off that team because I was a party boy and had a lot of fun. And then went to Rutgers, and I actually took school seriously. So, finally graduated, and it did actually really well there. Their College of Engineering was fantastic. So, coming through there was a great time. It's a good school. It's a big school, but it's got a small school feel because every campus is separated. So, you get, the College of Engineering back then, which was pharmacy and medical on the same campus, only had like 8,000 students. So it was a unique opportunity down there.
That's almost the size of a community college.
Yeah, no, I mean, the whole college, I don't even know what their undergrad is now. It's probably $250,000 or more. But, the main campus is in New Brunswick, and that whole area is broken down to like 12 colleges. There's an all-girl college, pretty awesome college, by the way. And then there's, then you got your College of Engineering, Pharmacy, and Medical on one campus, the main general education. Then you've got Livingston College. They break it up to put people where they feel most comfortable. Mm-hmm. And with their academic backgrounds, you put like people in like places.
So nice. The engineering is where you went down, and then you got into aerospace, right?
No, my first job was nuclear side submarine with Lockheed Martin. Worked there for a little while. Didn't really enjoy it. It's kind of a slow paced deal. A lot of work hours, but very slow paced and environment. Lockheed's more like a country club for the elderly engineering group. A bunch of big thinkers, stuff like that. And I like to get my hands dirty. You're not going to go touch a nuclear reactor cell. You might design it, you might look at it, you might play with it, but you're never going to go touch it, feel it, have a sense of what it really is. So, I left there after like 2 years and, went to a company called Gardenway that was like engineering products for, as a chief engineer, outdoor power products, like, simple things like lawnmowers, other items like that taught me commodity and how to, purchase products and do things. And I always had this on the side, and, it just kind of naturally took its own gravity over time.
Wow. That's crazy. My dad worked for Lockheed Martin in Skunk Works.
Yep.
In Palmdale. I think we've talked about it before. On a trail once or twice.
Yep. Super. I mean, everything in it in the big picture is a cool thing, but when you're there on the daily and you're really young and you're energetic and you want to go, it's certainly not that environment.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you got a little tired of that and you wanted to get your hands super dirty after that, right? And that's when you got into off-road.
Yeah, I've always had a passion for off-road. My first vehicle was a Jeep. When I was 15 years old, I went out and bought a CJ5 and then had a CJ7 and, just kept playing in the community. Did some consulting work for some off-road companies while I was in college. I really can't name them, but, just designing some simple parts or doing some simple things for them. And then, I always kept that passion of off-road, whether it be Jeeps or trucks or whatever. I mean, every vehicle can be a toy,
Mhm.
to a certain extent. So, having the dual purpose of a daily driver, weekend vehicle, or just a big toy is kind of, what we try to achieve.
So how did RK start?
Myself and a gentleman named Varick Stringham had started the company after we got done. We didn't do all that great when we first started. We had all kinds of issues. So, to just being quite frank and honest, whether it be sourcing or customer service or whatever. And then Terrence Barton is the other shareholder of the corporation with myself, and he came in, kind of gave us some guidance. His dad is a super smart guy. He was the CEO of Doyle Oliver, that did, the company itself did, and he was also the president of RPI at the time, at a given time through there, but did fluid separation or gas separation using a centrifugal process and applied it everywhere. He kind of helped us get some guidance on what we were doing, and a real directive for the business. And then since then, it was it's been a vertical growing path. Even Armando helps us out a lot. He's seeing what we're doing right now, seeing some transitions in the industry, and helping us get some guidance on that side as well.
What exactly are you doing, Armando?
Just some of the marketing side of it, a lot of the digital advertising, some other super secret stuff. I'm not sure what I can say.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a meeting this week, but I've been so busy trying to get unburied. We'll get that done probably Thursday or Friday, Armando. But no, it's the industry as a whole keeps evolving, and we either try to stay with it or stay ahead of it with what we're doing with products. Coming out with service-free stuff that we tested with Gerald and the Savvy crew, in the Gladiator 3-4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, and we started developing it to put it through its paces, has really set a different trajectory for the company, versus being that hardcore enthusiast only company trying to make things as crazy as possible. But you still see us doing a lot of crazy stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
we dominate the stock class in Ultra 4 because all of our parts are proven there and they can take it. I mean, it's what we do. It's our back end nature, and applying that to a little bit more consumer friendly side with the service free high ability stuff has also done quite a few things for the business.
Yeah. So at
Yeah.
what point? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and there's some cool stuff happening that will change some of the perception of what Rock Krawler is long term. That I'm not going to divulge a lot of it, but there's some really cool stuff, and I'm getting to see it, and it's it's exciting stuff. Being, JP and I have known each other for quite some time now. Even like back to my rigid days, it
Yep.
was a come across when I worked with Damon and when Poison Spider and Larry and all those guys were all in that huge scene. It goes back to those days and seeing the growth and change of Rock Krawler from being this hardcore off road to getting into the pure performance side, which is now being rolled back into the Rock Krawler brand and the truck and the HD truck. So my Ram has been running a Rock Krawler kit for a year and a half now, and we got some new stuff coming up that I've been testing, and some new stuff coming that I will be testing, just to kind of round out and get Rock Krawler into a whole different level, and get it to be more of an everyday consumer type of product too. Is going to be exciting.
Yep.
Yeah,
Everything is, going in a certain trajectory. I mean, even the new Bronco stuff, obviously we were known for Jeep parts. When we started, we were more of just a kind of a badass hard parts company, that made parts that just won't die. They're not going to physically break on you. You can put it in your car, just pound it in the ground. Obviously we'll warranty if you do, but the likelihood of that happening is very slim to none. To a full suspension tuning company where, having the utmost in ride quality, on-road handling and performance, is at the forefront of what we do. And then we combine that with our back end nature of our hardcore parts to make a complete full system for people that can go from start to finish with us. They can upgrade, they can go wherever they want to go, whether it be currently obviously Ram, Super Duties, Jeep applications. We cover all the Wrangler platforms all the way back to 1987 with the YJ. And, we're doing really well, and we're making a lot of noise in the Bronco community now too, that we started releasing our higher ended products.
So that was one reason why I started using your product long time ago. I don't know if you remember me bugging you for sponsorship way back when, but
Yep.
that must have been around 2013.
I think it was even before that.
Maybe. Yeah, probably 12 or something.
I think we did like the Trail Gunner kit for you in like 13 or 14 in your JK. And before that, you were on a mid-arm kit, and then we got to know each other. I mean, we're old school. We like the personal relationship, so we try to get to know people first. I had seen you at Easter Jeep and some other things, and we hung out for a while. Same as Armando, the guy's kind of a salt of the earth, old school guy. Been in the industry for a while. Damon, we still work with them. Larry and I still talk. We keep the relationships that we forge for a lifetime. And never turn our back on somebody unless they have to do something really, really bad for us to, get a little aggressive with them and say it's over.
Yeah. Well, the main reason why I wanted RK was because I saw what other people are running hard and noticing that nothing was breaking. And I was like, well, I want to run hard too. I want to beat the shit out of it and not have to worry about getting towed home from the trail.
Yeah. And you guys had some nasty stuff in Colorado. I mean, we're actually planning a trip back there this summer.
Nice.
For like the 4th of July week for Independence, Carnage Canyon, Holy Cross, get into some real aggressive stuff, and go have some fun.
What would you say is your flagship product right now?
I mean, obviously by sales volume, you look at JL, JT, then JK. JK is starting to dwindle down a little bit, not much there. It's just a little bit lower than JL is. I mean, but my heart is still with TJLJ guys. I mean, we went back and redid the long arm kits. We, when Bob gets the website up to date, you'll see all the new X2 flat belly long arm on there. And a lot of people thought we were crazy, but our heart is there. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's bring this to the forefront. Let's update these kits to go with all of our current products so the consumers can keep moving forward with us. And, wheeling a TJ or LJ it's a ton of fun, especially when you go standalone, you do some engine swapping and you do some other stuff. They become a great vehicle for just playing, and you don't have $90,000 wrapped up into it, and going out there and totaling it, like you would with a JL 392. I mean, you're going to put a ton of money into the vehicle to go out there and wheel it hardcore and just destroy it. It's just, it's not practical for the average consumer. And that's who we really try to look out for.
Mm-hmm. So I think the other, like you said, you're looking out for the consumer, and part of that is in the installation process. When I was a part of a TJ stretch project, they used RK products, and the process was pretty simple. If you know what you're doing.
It's as simple as you can get for a vehicle that you're trying to build to that level, and still not having the failure prone issues of making that compromise of putting in a weak spot for to ease a little bit of installation. Mm-hmm. You've got armor you're dealing with when you do the TJ stretches. You're doing the fuel system, you're the corners. There's quite a bit of extra work. I mean, the TJ I'm building now is called Roots because the TJ is the roots of the company. Full dovetailed rear. Actually I've got the second set of Poison Spider flares that John Grounds gave me for the front. The old ones that were like the ones on Big Daddy, just trying to keep some legacy parts on there, some Savvy product. Hopefully, if Chris Corbett's listening, my 42K specs are in the mail. Just a shout out there to Chris to make sure, send them, please. I've only been asking for like 3 years. I mean, if Lauren Healy's, listening, you don't need all the ones you got. You can send them to me. But, just making a fun vehicle, but something that is relatable to the consumer. We're doing junkyard axles on it. We rebuilt in-house the 5.3 LS, full standalones. Very, very simple vehicle that should be just fun.
So you've kind of touched on it a little bit. A lot of your testing is done at King of Hammers. You've had quite a number of rigs built for hammers. You've had quite a number of rigs running your products in hammers, including Doug Langford, Diesel. Sergio just recently ran your new build. How many builds have you had in hammers, built specifically for hammers?
That we've built in-house or in conjunction with Savvy, I think we're into the 8 to 10 range. We started out with the LJ and 4570 that ended up being John Grounds's. He went out and had fun with it, and he kept tweaking it and making it to what it became. And I don't even know where it is now. Then we did 4899. We tried to build we did something really stupid, just a big FU to most people, because we got dared to make a coilover bypass into one shock. And we pulled it off. That car went out and finished King of the Hammers for us. And then I sold it to, Armando knows, I sold it to Bill Schultz up in Washington. And, poor Bill had a lot of, smoke.
We had this conversation with Bill a couple weeks ago.
He was in pretty deep. Great guy though, fantastic guy. As a matter of fact, we helped him build what is now Twitchy McGee's JL in a stock class, which I forget about, or the original 4655, which Schaefer now owns, was a JK, and I can't remember the gentleman who drove it. Vince Blass with Bill Schultz. All running all off the shelf stuff that it can translate right to the general consumer's vehicles. That's actually how we tested our original JL long arm mounts, was in Bill's 2-door for King of the Hammers. When we took like 2 years off before we started the 392 with Scott Bloom and the folks at Jeep, that was the first JL before we released our long arm brackets and our long arm kits, that we were really out aggressively testing how everything welded to the frame and how everything would live in the hardest environment possible.
Without naming names, are there any other companies doing what you're doing at Hammers with parts?
I mean, you see, you gotta respect John Curry and the guys over there. On the suspension side, there's a lot of guys that run their sway bars or joints and stuff. You'll see a lot of mix and match stuff. We use a lot of the Rock Jock stuff. A lot of axle guys are out there playing too, like obviously Curry Enterprises and Casey and Ray and that whole team. Their heart is in the motorsports side as well. And then you start diving down. Clayton's out there a little bit, and especially in the older cars like the ZJs and stuff that's out there, that's been, refurbished and rehashed and very well proven. But other than that, it just dives off like a rock. I don't want to name any companies that have had very bad luck out there, but there's quite a few that won't complete a lap at King of the Hammers because their stuff just will not hold up.
So we talked about Sergio really quick running your car this year, and I think this was
because it ran really quick.
Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to drive the desert loop, right? And then I was going to hand it off to Sergio for the rock loop. I mean, y'all know, maybe you don't. Obviously, I effed up pretty good during the qualifying at 4,400. We jumped on a hot course. My head was just not in the game. I went down in my race suit to go get in the car with Sergio as my co-driver for the desert loop. I forgot my Hans device. I didn't even know where it was. It turns out it was in the Renegade back at camp. But, by then I was just mentally fried. And I just said, forget it. I'm like, Justin Andrews, go grab your shit. Get in the passenger seat. Sergio, take the wheel. Because at that point in time, he had more miles in the car than I did. He only did the qualifying course. Mm-hmm. All I got to do was drive it, balance the brakes out and stuff. And Sergio did a great job. I mean, by coming to the end of lap 1, he was up in second place. He was killing it. The car, once we get all the bugs worked out of it and stuff, electrically, and a good shock tune in the rear, that car is going to do some things.
What do you think his thoughts? Well, maybe you asked him, but what do you think his thoughts were not driving a car with BFGs?
I mean, obviously Sergio's a big BFG guy, but he was super happy with the Nittos. I mean, there's no reason not to be. Those are your two top tier companies in the tire industry, currently for sure. But I did a little quick video of the tires after the race when he got done. They look like they were brand new. One lap down through the hammers, and those tires were perfect. He did a great job conserving the car, doing what needs to happen. He just. I still haven't even got it out of the trailer yet because I just don't want to look at it.
But it's nothing that happened with anything that went on the car. It's just a phantom issue that happened with the vehicle, with the environment it was in, probably
it's still
everything. Yeah, it's aggravating, but you can't blame anything that was done to the car or
we can blame
or
Scott
put on the car. We 100% we're blaming Scott.
I can't even blame Scott.
We 100% blame him for everything.
I know, but the poor guy takes a lot. And today's not his day. I mean, I still got some hammer along if you want some. But I owned the mistake on qualifying and stuff, and we own whatever it is that happened to the car. Electrically, that we have to go through it and figure it out. But all in all, it's a solid. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong mechanically with that car right now.
Yeah.
It's absolutely perfect. If we figured it out, and let's say a plug came undone, because there's so much factory electronics in that car that you have to work with to make it still function. Even if like one of the bus connectors or something unlatched, it could be absolutely anything with that car.
Yeah,
and it can be
as dumb as a ground coming loose.
Right, 100%.
It's a lug on a ground that's sitting on the underside of the firewall.
Yep.
That just happens to be rattling around. That possibly came loose with the vibration. Could be the stupidest thing that could happen, and that could end everything.
I mean, the car, Schaefer's car, I think is 10 years old. I think that thing's held together by welding wire at this point in time.
It's duct tape, chewing gum, and zip ties.
We built that one, with Gerald and the Savvy team back when we did Jesse Combs' car. They were built as brothers and sisters, and obviously Jesse did well. She won. John's car's got more wins in Ultra 4 than anything you've ever seen, and it's still running OG stuff in it. It's impressive that we can get that car. I mean, we redid the steering for him. He had an issue where he blasted the rock that everybody blasted on qualifying, and it took him out of the race or off the qualifying course. Actually broke the ball stud, a 300M ball stud in one of our steering joints, took the Curry knuckle and just twisted the end of it right over. So we had to do a lot of customization in Lake Bed Fab, but him in that car, he knows how to get it done.
Yeah.
And I think, I was super proud of everybody there. Obviously, Doug that was his first time out there, so for him to now understand the pace of what it takes to finish that race or do well, I mean, he's going to do some great things at Crandon and some of the short course, because that car is really well natured to short course. We won Crandon with that car first time there, so I don't have to go back now. I'm just like, look, I got that win out of the way. We're done. I want to go on to the desert with some other stuff and keep working on this car with the team at Warren, with Sergio and Brad and Justin Andrews, and get Jeep on top of the box, because if there's going to be a lot of give and take with the Broncos, especially the lead three, that we can, if we get that thing to just be ultra electronic reliable, we can go play some games and have some fun.
So it sounds like Sergio's going to run this season with that rig.
Yeah, that was the goal. I was committed to driving at the Hammers, but then we have another project that we are going to be working on, which is on our Facebook wall. If somebody goes down and digs it out, they'll see a Gladiator for Long Course Desert. We are retooling actually the old bypasses that you had back in your JK. We have revamped the 2 5/8 and 3 1/4 bypasses, retooled them. We're dropping in new machines to bring them back and make them a more, race product instead of what they were, which was a consumer shock. And it's going to help in both directions, on the consumer side and the race side. This car, one of the new things we tested was coolers on our shocks. We ran recirculating reservoirs for the coolers, and the shocks were in great shape when he got done lap one. We never had any heat issue. John Williams won the Mint 400 last year with his JL with our shocks in it. And then he said he had a little bit of heat issues at Havasu at the Nationals. It was a little warmer, a little bit sharper bumps and stuff. So, we were like, okay, cool. Let's go try some coolers and see how our shocks do in this application. So, that was one of the new things that's in this car that we're testing.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
That's a lot of testing. That's a lot of testing just for consumers' purposes. But you're not aiming just for consumers, right? I mean, you want these guys that are running these courses to run your stuff too.
Absolutely. Especially, currently if they're in the Jeep applications, the Broncos, they've got a very good formula for the top 3 Broncos already built, whether that's, Quinn's products and then gutting the entire front end and basically putting a trophy truck front end in front of it, that, they're playing to the rules. There's no reason to complain, but that's what they get to do. So, on our level, we have to beat them with a off-the-shelf vehicle and more readily available parts that you can slap together in your garage if you want to. And we want to help those people out, like Send It Ruby. She's on our coils and we're trying to help her dial in her shock program and stuff like that. We'll probably work with her on the shock side. The shock development and the knowledge that you gain in the desert or off-road racing 100% translates down to the consumer level on all levels. And, so we'll have a good mix of all of it going out the door in the next couple of years.
So really quick, how did the Savvy Armor do?
Actually really good. On Turkey Claw, I know Sergio had punted Klein's pretty hard, and it barely put a dent in it. I don't even think it dented. I think it scratched it. I gotta get it back out. But with what Will, Jake, and Gerald are doing on the armor side for the newer models is pretty awesome. I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I always liked working with Gerald back before the other folks joined with him, and having the ability to just replace a skin or the outside surface of the bumper or the sliders or whatever, and keep the substructure. Because let's face it, we can all go out there wheeling. We're all going to have the potential to dent our bumper or scratch it pretty deep if you're pretty aggressive off-road. And so you can replace just part of it for a fraction of the cost is pretty cool in my opinion.
So speaking of Jake, can you talk about his rollover and breaking his arm?
His lack of talent moment. It happens. It was a new vehicle to him. That Pro R has got a lot of power, and he was in front of the camera, so he was probably smiling at the camera, waving, and caught himself off guard and just accidentally put his hand out on the outside of the roll cage. And he was super lucky though. I mean, because where it flopped over, it was in soft sand, so he just broke the middle index finger between your knuckle and your wrist. Instead of just smashing it on the rocks and having emergency surgeries and everything else. So he was quite fortunate, all considering what could have happened.
Yeah, it kind of sucks for him because he just had shoulder surgery not long ago, and he just got over that. So.
Yeah,
just got out of that brace.
Listen, we both like our orthos. They got to make a living too. I'm on like number 12 when I go in next, so we got to keep them busy, keep them on their toes.
So is this really your last hammers, or is it just your last hammers for a while?
It's certainly for a little while. I mean, if I go back out, I'm going to go run the Desert Challenge portion of the hammers, because I go out there to learn and develop product. I'm not a racer like an Eric Miller or a Lauren Healy or a Casey Curry. And that's why, honestly, putting Sergio in the car, it's a great fit. I mean, he feels at home in that vehicle. Him and Justin, or him and Brad, or him and his brother. His brother's awesome. Being in that car, it's a tremendous fit and a great relationship between Rock Krawler and Warren, and obviously Factor 55.
So let's switch gears a little bit and kind of talk about the state of off-road. It seems right now that it's more along the commercial side than it has been in the past, with more of a purist or traditionalist style of off-roading. It's become a little bit more of a pavement princess type thing with ducks and Instagram, people just wanting to have that, that clout without actually gaining clout by wheeling.
Right.
Now that's just a perception, but I'm not really deep in it like you are. What's your take?
Your perception is very close to reality. You know, there's a lot of people that are on YouTube and stuff like that that they want stuff for free because they're going to go out and film some videos and stuff like that. But we have the tendency to really work with the people that are still purists. You know, kind of like the same way we worked with you guys back in the day, even to the present time. You know, we want to see the people that truly enjoy it, or the people that will go out and push our products to the limits of racing and other applications to help us develop. And not, you know, if they're not the biggest social following, but they are some great people and are getting out there and trying to do things that are, you know, legendary, or, you know, something to strive for besides just, hey, look at me, I'm on YouTube, you know, or I've got a social following of X, Y, and Z. You know, we tend to gravitate towards that community more so than, you know, the look at me community.
And you're kind of developing some stuff for overlanding too. Do you think
Yep.
that is a natural transition for people getting older, or is this just another adaptation of what people can do?
I think it's an adaptation of what people can do. You know, I think during COVID, people were so locked up at their homes and stuff that getting out and adventuring is a large market segment. I think it's shrinking now. I mean, we've obviously, I feel we missed the peak of it, but there's certain vehicles that we are playing with that certainly lend themselves very well to the overland community. The Gladiator, which is, you know, we tested it in a very different environment. We tested it as a chase vehicle for our race team with the air ride rear, self-leveling and stuff like that, which will work great for the overland community as well. You know, it doesn't matter if you chock it full of garbage, put all your stuff in the back, put a tent on top, then add a trailer to the bumper and load it up. That vehicle is going to sit exactly where you tell it to sit and ride. You know, the airbags will make up for the changes in load with the sensors. We're working with AccuAir on that rear assembly. We're super happy with it as far as being a chase vehicle, and knowing what it can do for the overland community is fantastic for those people trying to get into this marketplace and that want ultra durable products so they can go and venture 500 miles off the grid and not have to worry about a problem.
Where do you see EV fitting into the future of off-roading?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, you know, we've owned a 4xe for a little while. Wheeling it was cool in like electric mode, you know, to just be out there and be perfectly silent. I don't know if you've ever jumped out of an airplane, you know, but when you jump out of an airplane, you know, the rush is there for the first like 60 seconds, 90 seconds. And as soon as that chute opens and everything settles in, it is the most peaceful, you know, 10 minutes of your life. You know, you don't hear anything. You just got great views. And, you know, the 4xe kind of brought that sensation out when you're wheeling in ultra quiet mode. But in racing, I mean, there's just so many liabilities with it. You know, if the car catches fire, what's that lithium battery going to do? Who's going to want to go over there and try to put that fire out? You know, there's a ton of issues there that I think are going to, you know, certainly delay EV into racing.
With there being more tree huggers and EPA restrictions and more calls for closing trails, how much longer do you think off-road is going to survive?
I think you're always going to have your off-road enthusiasts. You know, where we can go, what we can do might be changing. I mean, you've seen a big shift from, you know, Moab to Sand Hollow, and what happens with Sand Hollow, you know, with the town of legislation. Obviously, that's going to take its time, and we'll all see what happens. But there's other great areas. There's tons of private parks. You know, over here, the rumor mill is Paragon's going to reopen, which is a fantastic park. You got Roush Creek. You got all kinds of places you can go play. You know, sometimes you might want to you might have to travel a little further than you're used to, but you know, there's other lands out there too that people just don't go to that are your trail system in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely fantastic trail system. You know, you got Las Cruces, you got Farmington. You can go up to like Cedar City. There's all kinds of places that are out there that people have forgotten that were back there in like 2000 through 2005, 6, very popular areas. and they've tend to gravitate towards these more popular areas like Moab and Sand Hollow and stuff like that. But I don't see it ever going away. I think at some point there will be a fight back by the people, because if you close all the land and we can't use it, there will be an issue there. It's going to come to a head just like everything else, and then the pendulum swings back, and you see some opening up of lands and other stuff too.
It seems like
I think we'll see, like, even the shift in Moab this year. I don't think we're going to see as many people out there.
No, 100%.
It has changed. It's changed from, we go to Moab and you could get a hotel room for $150 a night, and now you're $350 minimum.
Right. No, it's pretty ridiculous. And that's why we did the Moab thing.
And it can't survive that because people just go, I want to go to Moab because it's a once in a lifetime thing. And then once you've already done it, you've already done it. And you won't go back there.
Right. I mean, it's a great, it's got great scenery, great trails, but to, go there every year or twice a year, it gets a little old and stale.
Yeah. There's so many other places. So many other places. Just, I mean, for me, being Arizona, Nevada.
Yep.
You
guys got Table Mesa. Table Mesa is a great area.
Yeah. I'm 20 minutes from probably 1,000 miles of trails, open trails in Florence Junction.
Yeah.
So everything out here, you have so much to get through and do to adventure out here all the way up. So it's an easy shift that happens. The problem is people gravitate towards where the events are.
Yep.
And that's and that's part of the problem, is that everyone makes this homage to EJS every year, and then it gets so crowded, and I go, why did I do that? So I think we'll start to see, and then we see even Trail Heroes starting to become a big boy event after it struggled and grew over the past.
Yeah, Rich is doing a great job with that event,
and he's
making
growing that.
Larger than life. The concerts he does and everything he's doing there is pretty impressive for such a small group to do it, and he's built that thing in 8 to 9 years to what it is today. He's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, and the nice behind it is the city's supporting it. The city is growing with it. So there's hotels, there's locations to stay, there's more things to do outside. This one of the reasons that Smoky Mountain is such a great event is that you can go Jeep during the day with the family and then take them out and go do all the bullshit around town, and that's what makes that such a great event or big event.
Nope. But I mean, I think you'll see people starting to gravitate towards, Las Cruces and Farmington and some other trail systems as Moab gets squeezed. People are still going to go out. They're going to go someplace else. Moab is not the only place with red rock and sandstone in the United States. Even if we could ever wheel on the res in Arizona, that'd be fantastic. They've got some of the best trails ever. I'm like, hey, y'all complain that you're broke, but you have some cool shit here that we could use. So how about you open it up to us? It'd be pretty awesome.
There's some good stuff even around there, like Canyon de Chelly and all that, and all that area up there. We can get into red rocks and not be on a res and see stuff that no one ever really sees.
Yeah, 100%. I just don't see it ever going away. I mean, I don't want to give away some of my secret spots, but Gabe, you were on one of them. Mm-hmm. That we don't talk about very often, and that place is amazing. Unless you're getting eaten by bears, then it's a bad day. But that trail system and what they have there is fantastic. And I don't see that going away because Sierra Trek uses it. Other big named events continue to use it, so it's going to be there for quite some time.
Yeah. So do you anticipate Rock Krawler getting away from Moab and maybe transitioning more towards going to Trail Hero?
This year, I mean, I know we're
or for
going
EGS, I should say, not necessarily Moab.
We'll do some stuff at EGS. We're still going to do the kickoff party and some other things with it. This year being a very early year for Moab. It's very weather dependent. It could be very cold. So the Moab thing, we started it during COVID because nobody was doing anything. And, we just wanted to get out and go wheel and have some fun with friends and bring people along to see it and do what they want to do. So, we brought it back for this year. It's already sold out. It's, looking like it's going to be a great event. and the goal of that event though is to take it different places to have different experiences. If we want to go to Wolf Caves, we want to do some wheeling in Texas, let's go to Texas. We want to go to Farmington, we want to go to Las Cruces, or Colorado. Let's move around the country and show people that, hey, you can have a great time, and there's tons and tons of places for these events to go.
So speaking of Moab, the first time we went, my favorite moment is this moment here.
Hopefully it's not my daughter.
Gerald?
It is.
Do not be a chicken shit.
This cute little firecracker is Brinks.
Of course, it's Brinks.
Yeah.
She loves to see Riggs take the center line on Rocker Knocker. And so do I.
Don't be a little chicken shit.
Yeah. That was a very bad day. When I went to wake her up in the morning, I knew I was in for it because she didn't want to get out of bed. I was like, "Oh my God, today is going to be terrible," and that's the outcome. But she rides her horses that way too. She's
That
there to
fire.
win. Oh yeah, 100%.
She's got that. She's got that fire.
She is 100% on fire and just ready to go at every second.
Well, she's got your blood and she's got the wife's blood, so it's just it's
I
fire
didn't give
water.
anything to do with horses, dude. I honestly, you can draw my blood and test it. There's no horses in there. There's horsepower. My wife definitely has the horse gene in her. She was a barrel racer before, and Brinkley was doing some English lessons just to learn some riding etiquette and stuff, and then just absolutely fell in love with barrel racing. She just, she likes that ultra aggressive, just go at it and do her thing.
So I saw a recent photo you posted of her at a competition. She's gotten big.
She's 13 now.
Yeah,
So
she's growing up.
they grow. We just don't.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was the last time. That was the last time I saw her. So I mean, back
Yeah.
then,
She's not 5 anymore.
yeah. I think she was like 6 or 7 there, and Cece was like 9. So and those two are still great friends. They get to see each other maybe twice a year, and when they do, it's they have a good time.
They're inseparable.
Yeah, it's a unique bond those two have. They're both into horses, and do what they do. So it's great to watch them grow up together. She has a ton of friends that are around the country and not just in our local area because of what she does.
So back to Moab. That's going on this year in May. You spread the word. It's not really, technically, it's not advertised, but you're just spreading the word, right?
Yeah, and a lot of that is because we're kind of limited on what we can do with permitting for Grand County for that time of the year. The goal was to, and we're super thankful for the Fairfield and Marriott to open up their doors to us, give us super discounted rates for the consumers so they can come out and enjoy it, and not, like Armando was saying, not spend $400 a night just to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's unfair. The bulk of our community is really your median income guys. There's some rich players and there's some poor dudes out there, but trying to cater to people so they can afford to come out and enjoy what we're doing. And this year we've got some different stuff too. It's not just about trail rides. We're going to go whitewater rafting. We're going to go do some other things that Moab has to offer. So, if it ever gets closed down to wheeling, people came out and they got to see everything it had to offer. But I don't think it'll ever get completely closed down to wheeling. I think that would hurt the town so much, especially the local businesses, that they'll fight back at some point. And I'm sure some of them are, but not all of them are standing up right now saying, "Hey, this doesn't work." It should be super interesting to see what happens when that big resort goes up at the beginning of Sand Flats. Because if they close off Sand Flats, you lose Hell's Revenge, you lose Fins and Things, you lose some other legendary trails, and that's going to put a hurt on that town.
It seems like it's the new residents there that are having the battle with the businesses, really.
It definitely, it's the transients that moved in that have the money that only want to go there for 2 weeks of the year, or the investment groups that own the properties that are there to rent them out to VRBO or whatever, that are certainly causing all the issues or the bulk of the majority of the issues that you see, and a lot of them are ex-California residents. They're coming out there, they're, not to say California is a bad state, but it's got some good and bad things about it, same as New York. We're upstate, so we're secluded from a lot of the bad things in New York, but, those people that want to go out there, and yes, they probably have more money than everybody else that's in the town, and they can do what they want to do. They also have more influence with their capital to influence, lawmakers and people, and the BLM and everybody else kind of listens to them. I mean, not to deter from this, but I mean, you look at what Dave Cole's doing at King of the Hammers. The fact that that event is going on and the BLM allows it in California and welcomes it,
It's crazy.
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It was super crowded this year, a little bit different in Hammertown than past years, but that was probably more weather related than anything else. With the rain, Hammertown was pretty much a sloppy shit show. So nobody really wanted to go down in there, especially early. So everybody was camping out like where we usually kind of stay secluded. It was crowded, so, but the fact that is continuing to go on and he makes it what it is, it's super impressive. And, California's got a lot of desert racing too, with MDR and everybody else. It's very weird how it's kind of broken up between a bunch of different groups and who likes the off-road community and who doesn't.
Well, it's not even necessarily the off-road community anymore, because now I think there's residents trying to get Laguna Seca shut down,
which is absolutely mind-blowing.
We built houses on a race course and we're mad because there's a race course here.
Right.
Yeah, that's like saying they're going to build houses on a golf course, but we don't want you to golf out there. We just want to look at the green grass. I mean,
keep watering it, mowing it, and pay for all the beautification, but don't let anyone have a ball to hit near us.
Yeah,
and the same thing happened in Colorado with Bandimere Speedway.
Really?
They had to close it down after I think it was open for 50 something plus years. They had to shut down because the new development with the people that are new there are pissed off that there's so much noise. Well, it's like, duh, you moved in next to a fucking NHRA racetrack.
Right. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
And someone probably moved there because of that track, but they obviously didn't win the fight of, what the area was with some of the other people. And, that's kind of what's going on all over the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Well, even at Red Rocks, which is just up the mountain a little bit from Bandimere, they have a curfew now, I think. You have to stop playing music at a certain time because the bass is just reflecting off of those rocks and spreading to the community, but also the traffic coming off of that mountain is just horrendous. And I guess inside that city, it's just in Morrison, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously there are families that live up there. We do the same thing at like SPAC, which is Saratoga Performing Arts Center. They'll get 50 to 100,000 people there, but they have a curfew on noise because it is in a small community. You don't want to keep people up till 1, 2 in the morning because of an event. So there is a little bit of give and take there, but at least it's still open. Same with Red Rocks. They're still allowing concerts, and that's such a historical venue. I don't see that ever closing either.
Yeah. We touched on it just very, very quickly, and I know you don't want to give too much away about it, but we did a trip to California together.
Yeah.
And our first landing spot was the Rubicon. It was a great fucking time, if you ask me.
And that's where we kind of got this idea of the Moab. I mean, obviously you were at the first one, and then Rubidice, go run the Rubicon and Fordyce back to back, do 2 extremely challenging trails, but get out there and camp and experience what's going on, to hit different areas. That was my first time on the Rubicon, believe it or not, and my first time on Fordyce. Fordyce was amazing. You guys made that such a fun trip. I mean, just the entire group of people that we had in the camaraderie, even with Cooper's big ass, and we had to tow him up every trail. It was, just when you look back at it, that was one of those historical moments in your lifetime that, it's going to be hard to duplicate or top.
What would you do different if you did that same experience?
I'd run through the Rubicon in one day, get it out of the way. Run over to Fordyce and spend probably 3 days on the trail. Break it, not try to rush through it as much, and enjoy the scenery and everything else that the Fordyce had to offer. Because I thought it just blew the Rubicon away in all fashions.
The scenery is by far, I think, better than the Rubicon.
Yeah, 100%. And the trails the trails are more challenging. Everything about Fordyce is like the Rubicon times 10.
Yeah. I mean, when every other obstacle is named Winch Hill,
Yeah.
you know it's going to be a good time.
And we went through a lot of winches that day because Cooper's truck and Cooper, weigh probably 12,000 pounds. So,
The hero.
yeah, we don't need another hero, Coop. But no, that was just absolutely amazing time. I would love to do that again with you guys and just, think about how lucky we got with all the forest fires that were all around us. And we had Laura telling us from air traffic control where they were so we could kind of navigate our way around the trail system and miss the forest fires and everything else. But the sky was orange every night and orange in the morning. It was pretty, not only were we lucky, but pretty amazing to see.
I'll tell you what I would do different. I would take my pistol with me this time.
You think? You were like a bear taco stuck in a zip-up tent.
It's called a burrito.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. I probably would take a tent this time and not a hammock because that's just bad.
Yeah, you got a little cozy with me that night after that happened.
Yeah.
Wait. Wasn't there a gunshot through a tent that trip?
Yeah,
I don't think it was through a tent. I don't know where he was shooting.
I thought there was a hole in the tent. I heard there's a hole in a tent somewhere.
Maybe Jared put a hole in his tent. I don't know. I mean, he definitely was just popping rounds off for. I have no idea why. It's a black bear. It wasn't that bad, but it was enough to get
my. It was enough to get.
My you were the first thing it thought of.
Oh,
and the first thing it went up to and smelled besides Jared's. What he had, he left his grease and his
scottle
stuff.
Yeah, his scottle.
It was great for him to cook for us. That was fantastic. But
so people that are listening and aren't too aware of the story. So we're first night camping on Fordyce, and Jared is finished cooking for the night, and he just puts his cooking utensils only about 30, maybe 20 yards away from our campsite. And in the middle of the night, I hear like metal clinging against each other. And I'm thinking, that's weird. There's no wind, so I don't know what the hell that can be. So I heard it again, and I had my flashlight on me, and I shine it at the noise, and I just see these two eyes just glowing right at me. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I see it like take a step closer. I was like, oh, fuck, bear.
It was so funny. I was like, don't wake me up, man. My shift pod was super comfortable. I just wanted to sleep. It was a great time. Man, honestly, if we could have captured that moment on film and got the cameras rolling, it would have been something right straight out of Blair Witch. Just complete stupidity happening, and it was, just so much fun to experience and, just be a part of it. Again, it was absolutely fantastic. The group of people, absolutely amazing time.
Yeah, I'm so pissed I missed it.
I wish I would have got that on camera, but I was too worried about self-preservation.
Yeah, you were. I think, you're a little chicken. It's a black bear.
The one time he worries about self-preservation. Every other time he just stands with the Jeep, like, just run me over.
Yeah.
A bear he's afraid of. Jeep, it's 4,000, 5,000 pound Jeep, no problem.
Even on the Rubicon with Gerald and Tim Pellegrino, throwing rocks at the bear. I mean, Tim was naked. I don't even know what he was doing. But you're just like, the bear went right in the back of his Gladiator, just opened up everything it could, looking for food. I'm like, okay, this is how it is out here.
I mean, the way Tim smells with patchouli and the aroma of marijuana and just crumbs in his face from food.
Well, the bear probably ate some of the weed first.
Yeah,
and then went after snacks.
Yeah, 100%. That's probably where they got the idea of cocaine bear from that night. But no, it was, just the events that happened that, the whole week was fantastic. Definitely would love to do that again sometime and get back out to Fordyce and just enjoy it.
Yeah. So speaking of Cooper, we have an inside joke about hero songs because of Cooper.
Oh, great.
And so
is he listening? Is there any way to tell if Coop's listening? Hang on.
It's not live. It's not live.
Oh, okay.
No. We'll tag him. We'll make sure he hears.
Okay.
But I know music is a big part of your experience while you're wheeling.
Absolutely.
We've talked about it many times, and we've enjoyed so many songs from it. In fact, you turned me on to Primus.
Oh yeah, 100%.
My Name is Mud has been a song and a bass solo kind of thing that has just always wowed me. So Armando and I have talked about it before on the show. some of the stuff that we listen to while we're wheeling. What's your favorite? What's your go-to when you're wheeling?
I mean, I enjoy Five Finger Death Punch. I think their music's fantastic. I listen to System of a Down. That kind of genre, AC/DC.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what mood I'm in. I mean, if I'm having a bad day, I'll listen to Richmond, North of Richmond, and just start saying it's a damn shame. Just it is what it is. We played that one over and over again, building that JL for the race car. It's a damn shame. Just so many things. I mean, hell, you didn't even know Uncle Tom's Cabin was a song.
No.
When we drove by it, I'm like, hold on. I'm like, stop. This is a song.
Y'all, 7 Mary 3.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, it wasn't 7 Mary 3. Who the hell was that? Skid Row, I think. Or was it
Tom's Cabin? No, 7 Mary 3.
No, hang on. Yeah, Google that shit, because it's like Skid Row or Long Hair Band did Uncle Tom's Cabin. Warrant. Maybe it's Warrant.
Yeah, that's who it was, I think.
I can't remember. I think it's Warrant. There's just so many songs that go through your head based on
it's Warrant. Yeah.
Based on
I'm thinking
time and place, or just an occasion. I've always liked music, and some of the shit's just funny, man. You're just like, this shit just can't happen, and then the song pops in your head about what's happening, and you're like, how'd this just happen? This is just so stupid, but it does, and it's it's absolutely fitting for everything that happens.
It's just like you said. You started telling Cooper, "Don't be a hero," and then I think a hero song came on. And I think
we played him Tina Turner. We
That's
don't
what
need
it
another
was.
hero.
we don't need another hero.
Yeah. Because it was so much work. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but that was the year I popped my hamstring off my butt. So I was kind of really down and, scheduled for another surgery and trying to get him through there. I mean, we all humped, Adam Kaiser, all those guys, that was a lot of work to get that thing out of there.
A lot of rocks were stacked.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I rebuilt this whole front end for maybe 10 minutes, took the Dynatrack hubs apart, made it to a dry flanges, and we got another 100 feet out of it, and then it just let loose. So there was so much time on that day. I mean, you remember, I think we crashed in your room that night, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't get in a hotel room.
Couldn't get a room
when we got back. So we're like, all right, Gabe, we're paying for your room tonight. And guess what? We're all staying in here. I think there were people in the bathroom.
There were 6 or 7 of us in one room.
Oh, 100%. I didn't even take a shower, dude. I hit the floor. I didn't care. I was just done.
I had a flight the next morning. Remember, it was like I had to leave at 4, and then we got to the hotel at 2.
Yeah.
So I took a little cat nap, and then the alarm went off, and you guys were just sound asleep still.
Oh, dude, we were done. I mean, I'm sure you were done too. That was just such a long day, but it was fun and pretty epic, and how things transpired and what happened when you look back at it. It's like running King of the Hammers. It's like, just certain things are gonna happen either that week or that day that you hate at that moment, but you look back at it and you're like, that was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth the struggle. It was worth everything that happened to just have it happen and be there in that moment.
It's weird how that happens to me a lot when we're wheeling and I'm filming stuff.
Well, were you with Meehan that time when he died? No, I'm not out there about staying in the cold all night. No, that's not my thing. But it does. It happens, and there's great stories that come out of it. Camaraderie or whatever, and you just experience it. And it's something you can talk about for a lifetime.
And you learn a lot about the people that are around you too.
Right. No,
because
100%.
Because A, you learn if they're trustworthy. B, you learn that they're a brother, and then C, you realize that even though you want to kill them because they pissed you off for half a second, they're still your brother.
Cooper's a big way to kill.
You're gonna need a bigger gun.
We're gonna need a lot more bears. We're gonna need a lot more bears for that one. He's a pretty big dude.
He's a big fellow.
Yeah. I noticed he's wearing glasses now, so he might not be able to see so well. So we might have that going for us.
We gotta knock the glasses off first.
They're pretty thick too. I was like, damn, Coop.
Maybe he can see that rock from now on.
Maybe. I just want to put some tires on it. No.
Well, the funny thing was he already cleared the obstacle, and he circled back around and wanted to take a different line.
Yeah.
And that's when he had broke.
I think that was on Winch Hill 1 or something, or Committed 1. One of the very first real obstacles.
It was the start of day 2, right after It was right at the early exit.
Okay.
At the early exit, you can shoot
Yeah, I can't
over
remember if that's
across
like
the river.
Winchell 1 or what that little section was, but yeah. And boy, did that make that day long.
Yeah.
You know, we were having a great time. Our pace was perfect, and then it wasn't.
Yeah. It was still a good time, though.
You know, everybody on that trip, you know, I appreciate being there. And, you know, everybody that was there was, you know, certainly a great group of people to have. You know, some of them had their kids. Adam had his kids. And, you know, so it was, you know, Eric Mullenberg was there with JKL and, you know, just a super good group of people out on that trail.
So if anyone wants to see this document, it's on Kingdom Crawl Season 3. Feel free to check it out. It's on YouTube. And pretty soon, I'm working on having Season 3 on Amazon Prime. Right now, you can see Season 2 of Kingdom Crawl on Amazon Prime, and as well as American Crawlers. So
very cool. Yeah, they were all fun events. You know, just good people, good camaraderie, good wheeling. You know, just very different type atmospheres for, you know, so people can actually watch and understand what wheeling's supposed to be. You know, is it really the YouTube guy that's, oh, look at me, look at what I got for free, and oh, this is the best because I got it for free? No, it's about that stuff where it's, you know, roots, people having a good time, challenging themselves, helping others at the same point in time. I mean, you've seen me on Pritchett. I mean, how many? The one year we came out for the kickoff party, I got out at like just in time to pay the bill.
Yeah,
and you guys didn't even save me any food, but we got 100 and something vehicles through there because nobody knew what they were doing, and we wouldn't leave them there. So we took our time and spotted everybody out because we know the trail, you know, and the bonds that you make with these people during that is, you know, something they'll never forget.
That's one reason why I produced Kingdom Crawl the way I did, was because there was so many YouTubers just having a camera on them and then themselves and talking about, you know, look at me, listen to me, watch me do this, watch me do that. There wasn't enough camaraderie being shown throughout YouTube. There wasn't enough true experiences, what it's really like to go out and wheeling with your friends. And that's what I wanted to capture.
Yeah, you know, and you definitely keyed in on a different marketplace. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, we still work with Kevin and Brittany, and, you know, I know your feelings on them, and, you know, they work really hard at what they do. You know, and, you know, theirs is a little bit different model than what yours is, but, you know, you even see like the guys like Lauren Healy or Casey Curry and all these guys, they've become much more focused on them because people want to see that, and that's what they need to continue their relationships with their sponsors too.
Yeah.
You know, there is a big give and take there, especially when it becomes the professional athlete side of things versus, you know, just the people, honestly, who have quite frankly never done a thing in their lives other than get some free parts, and they got some YouTube channel developed. And, you know, it's disheartening because you know better than to watch it. But some people are pretty green and growing up, and they're tuning into it, you know, to a point where, you know, that is their gospel. And, you know, until you prove them wrong, you know, which is what we kind of did on, you know, your Kingdom Crawl events and things of that nature that were very different oriented than that me-centric community.
Yeah. It's not just about making your Jeep perfect and then, oh, look at me go over this little obstacle and hey, ta-da.
Right.
No, it's the adventure. It's the heartbreak. It's the not making up the object and everyone laughing at you because you're not making it. It's broken parts. It's broken pieces. It's laying a Jeep with 32 miles on its side. Like all of that. Shit just happens. I mean,
and you take it and move on.
And it doesn't have to kill the adventure. It just becomes part of the story.
Yep, 100%. It's all part, you know.
If you look at Steven Ranella and Meat Eater, and you watch him on his hunts, every hunt is not always successful. But he tells a story about the hunt and the struggles with the hunt and how he can maybe do better on the next one when he's in that area. So the story shouldn't always be peaches and cream and rainbows and unicorns. I think you do have to have a story arc, to
Yeah,
make
it's-
to make certain things interesting, more
Right.
interesting.
And keep it real.
Yeah, humility and failure are part of daily life.
Right.
Show
100%.
it. Why hide it? Let's show it.
I've broke the
go-
internet 3 times. And, one of them, Armando was talking about, flopped a brand new JK on, what was it, double whammy or something? And
Yeah.
something
Double
I've done,
whammy.
something I've done
Like-
a million times in my life, and I just caught it wrong, and it was over. Or
and just
last year at King of the Hammers, qualifying, we were the only stock class car to go and actually drive Chocolate Thunder. I almost rolled it twice getting it through there, but then this year, you do something really stupid. Huh?
It bicycled.
Yeah, a couple times. It's okay. It's okay. At least I don't fall off like our president. But anyway,
Hey, wait a minute. Only 3?
No, there was another time too.
What about?
I'm getting to this year. I'm getting to this year.
Wait. There was a ram on its side in the
Oh, yeah, I
in
forgot
the
about
sand.
Yeah, I have wrecked a lot of cars, all in the name of fun. That year I tore my other bicep off my arm racing the Arctic Cat when I wadded that thing up. Or you let us loose in the desert. Listen, we're not desert people. It's exciting. It's fun. So I flopped the
let's
SEMA
go
ram.
fast.
Yeah, let's go fast and have some fun.
Weren't you
And then
spotlighted
obviously-
also humping parts back to the car, and then at some point someone had to take over?
Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah, he got the glory.
Yeah.
He carried it the last 250 feet. I mean, let's think about this. Eric Miller, probably back then, I think he's 37, 38 now. So he was 35. Great dude. Love the guy to death. What he's doing and what he stands for. Was driving the 392 the first year. And, we got to first place, but our comms were so bad. We were having trouble with comms because some of us were on subtones and some of us weren't, so we couldn't always hear. They were telling us we were in the lead by like 20-30 minutes. We thought we were behind, so he was pushing and took a line to kind of gain a little bit of time, which I was saying go a different way, but it is what it is. Brakes and axle shaft over on our entrance to Jackhammer. And I looked across the lake bed. I'm like, well, I can see it. They have parts. We made a phone call. We had cell service there. So he's like, well, you're working out more than me. Go run. I'm like, dude, I'm 48 years old. Why am I running across the desert? And so, I ran across the desert, got there. Jim from Dynatrack and Gerald and those guys, they were great. They got us a spare shaft. It was a complete shaft assembly. So, and Adam was out there that year. So I started running back, and dude, Eric could have parked at the bottom of the hill. Let's be honest. The car could have went downhill with no problem. And I wouldn't have to run that last 400 or 500 yards straight up a sand hill. And dude, I was gassed. By the time I got there, I was done. It was a tough day, but a great experience with Eric in the car. I learned a lot from him. About what we're doing. And, just, again, it's just one of those moments that you look back at it and you're like, God, we do dumb shit, but it might, the results might not be what you want, but the experience was well worth the reward.
100%.
Yeah.
So, even this year, I mean, you guys saw what we did. The whole internet did, jumping on a hot qualifying course, and all the tape was down. We thought we were doing everything right. I mean, and just to give a shout out to Casey Shearer, because he brought up a great point that we could have radioed into race ops and not just taken people's word for it, or not seeing the tape was down, or not seeing course workers, Randy drove into the back of my Razor with Man Mountain driving. I mean, he turns a double seat Razor into a single seater. I don't know if you saw how big he was in that thing, but I was like, damn. He's a big dude, great guy, super good heart. We all took it. I immediately took blame for it. Hey man, this is my fault. That's not his fault. It's not anybody's fault. Went and apologized to Dave and Randy right there in front of the crowd. You got to own the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're almost out of time, so I'm going to ask you 2 more questions, and give me 1-word answers on these.
Okay.
Travis Goldstein, do you miss him?
Love the kid. He's grown up a lot. I mean, it's more than 1 word. I don't know how I'd sum that up in 1 word. But no, super, super good. It's great to see him evolve.
Yeah.
If I had to describe it with 1 word, I'd say maturing.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good dude. Like I told you just before we started recording, I reached out to him because I needed to buy a new computer and trying to get some advice from him, and he took his time with me, even though I'm pretty retarded when it comes to a lot of the computer build stuff. So
Yeah, no, willing to help
I've
out
always
anybody.
appreciated him.
You know, certainly has grown up a lot since I met him a long time ago.
Definitely.
All right, question 2. What's been your favorite trail to run during Hammers?
Hang on, Full of Hate.
Really?
Yeah, the traditional trails are great, but there's some out there that are going to catch you by surprise sometimes. And when Jason and I were in 4899, they kind of blocked off a certain section of trail because somebody had a bad rollover, and it was an interesting day, a great day. We got a good finish that year. So, but Full of Hate's one of my favorites. I mean, Dave does a good job of mixing up the courses. Crowbar, if you want another one I don't like, is out in the middle of nowhere and a long ways to go to get in a bottleneck to turn around and come back. I'd rather have a bottleneck at Turkey Claw or something close that you can either recover from or get it out of the way early. There was a year where he had us drive out probably 50 miles to Crowbar, and we ran into a big bottleneck there because when you're in the either 45 class or stock class, we try to keep our products relatable to our targeted marketplace. You're not going to get there first.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the tendency to run into those bottlenecks more and more on race day, especially in EMC.
How's Cougar Buttes? Because on just looking at it on the feed, it looks fun. Just because there's a lot of undulations and things you can almost make up your own trail.
It's a very unique area, very unique landscape. It's not super hard, especially the way they put the race cars through there. You can get through a bunch of different lines pretty easy. That's why you don't typically see a bottleneck there. But a nice little challenging section, and you just got done running 40 miles at a desert to go through Cougar Buttes to turn around and come back. So it's kind of sometimes that is the first rock section that you will hit, based on how he does the course layout, based on how BLM allows him or permits him to land.
It's interesting. Might have to take a trip one of these years out there and organize an event just to
honestly,
film
you go in. So everybody goes out there for like Thanksgiving, and then it gets pretty crowded as you approach Christmas. But I like it in like middle to late October, but before Halloween, when everybody still starts going out there. It's a little warmer, highs in the 80s, lows in the 50s at night, but not humid. It makes for great wheeling, but you do have to be ready for some body damage, which a lot of the JL community, certainly the JT community, is not about.
Yeah.
There's some hardcore guys, but that's a very small segment of the community. But that time of the year out there is absolutely amazing. The stars, it's not crowded. You pretty much have the entire lake bed to yourself. It doesn't get any better than that, in my opinion. It's kind of like Memorial Day in Moab. The weather is perfect. The town is not crowded. And there's a lot of other things that you can do that people can experience that would normally be there for, let's say, an Easter Jeep Safari, and be locked in the trails, be locked in a gridlock, having to sign up for 1 or 2 trails a day. It's free reign, man. Go have fun.
All right. So
speaking of Jeeps, is your JK still around?
Yeah, it's living in Florida now.
Oh, okay.
I sold it just before I bought the house. It was about 95% complete. We bought the house, and I needed the extra cash for
100%.
Different stuff. I had to put up a fence.
You guys had a big lifestyle change too, from Colorado to Tennessee, and start a different lifestyle. It's certainly understandable.
Yeah, and I bought a lot of guns.
I see that. I've got my fair share. They're fun toys too.
Yeah.
There's no guns here. They all got lost in a boating accident over here.
A boating accident in Phoenix in the desert. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe that.
They fell in the pool, and the pool just gobbled them up.
Get the skimmer out. But
listen, we've covered a lot, and I appreciate your time. Anything else you want to say about Rock Krawler before we go?
No, I mean, I'm super appreciative of the community, you guys, everybody we've met, all of our customers. The group is a great group of people. We might not be the biggest, but we always try to be in that top 3 category of everything that we play with. whether it be Jeep, Ram, Super Duty, or whatever. So, we're always going to challenge ourselves to be there and be in that mix and in that fold of discussion. And, the people we're super thankful for, I mean, and the relationships that have come out of owning this business with other business owners or other people that work for other companies or whatever have been absolutely fantastic. It's been a, 20 something year ride. That's been nothing I ever thought it would be possible.
I've had fun, being with you on a lot of these runs for about a little over 10 years of these rides. And one of these days I'm going to get back out there with you. I know I'm taking some time off right now, but I'll be back.
Sense. I mean, we all do. I mean, I'm going to take some time off from KOH. I'm a little burnt out on that event, especially with the results from the last 2 years are disheartening. When I tore my bicep off my arm trying to help the other guy the year before, that is what it is. That's part of who we are. It's our nature to go help, but it happens, man. And then you come back and you get rejuvenated and, you enjoy it even more. We'd love to have you come out to, Colorado when we're wheeling this summer and just hit some of those trails that used to be your home.
Yep.
Stuff I haven't done in 20 years. It's going to be a great event.
Yeah. I'll look forward to it.
Just a fun time, relaxing, not a competition. Hey, let's go try stuff. Let's go do stuff. Let's have fun.
Yeah. And no dick size competition shit either. It's
No.
just guys that are guys poking fun at each other just because they're friends.
Oh, 100%. I'll bring Brinkley. She'll keep Gerald in line.
Oh, shit.
Her mouth has improved now that she's 13. Not for the better, though. She can go. I'm like, oh, my God, kid. There's no filter on that one.
All right. Well,
But guys, I appreciate you guys as well. I mean, we've all had a long relationship, in the off-road community and as friends and everything else that's happened in this crazy thing we call life. And it's been fun.
yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Definitely been fun.
All right, folks.
There's more fun to have, though. We're not dead yet.
Oh, no. I'm not dying yet.
Just
No, me
dead
neither.
inside.
I had a couple more years yet before I die.
Still plenty of time to do something stupid.
Yeah. I'm going to die doing something stupid. So.
Me too. It's going to be awesome.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. JP, Rock Krawler Suspension. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Armando, anything
Thanks,
else?
everyone. Nah, we're good. Thanks, JP.
Okay.
Thanks, Gabe. We'll
All
see you
right,
soon.
everyone. See
All
you
right,
next
guys.
week.
Take care.